Hi, I'm Jen Holtz, Associate State Director for Outreach at AARP Maryland. We are working to support all caregivers of children who are home with kids during the pandemic by continuing our Lunch and Learn interviews through the rest of 2021. Our goal is to provide you with practical ideas, tips, and tools and resources for distance learning and helping kids to thrive during the pandemic. With schools back in session in one form or another, keep joining us over the coming weeks to hear from guests who know a thing or two about helping our kids to do their best. Please also visit our website, aarp.org/MD, to learn more about the resources in our state to support you and your kids during this unprecedented time. Today, we are joined by Pam Allman, a kindergarten teacher in Carroll County. And by the way, anything she says today is her own opinion and her own experience. She is not representing the school system today, but she knows firsthand the joys and challenges associated with virtual learning. Today, Pam will have a quick chat with us about the common challenges facing teachers, parents, and students as we adjust to distance learning around the state. Pam, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So let's start with providing a brief description of the day in the life of a virtual teacher. What does it take for you to prepare and execute a lesson plan outside of a traditional classroom setting?
So even before the school year started, I spent a lot of time doing professional development over the summer to learn about all the online tools that the kids can use because as we know, online we can't use the traditional books and papers and games that we would have at school. So I've spent a lot of time learning those things and putting them into place for my students. Um, and my day pretty much consists of hopping on and off of chats all day or lessons all day with my students. I meet with whole groups and I meet with small groups and then students individually who need extra help. And then when I'm not meeting with students or teaching, I am working on those plans and putting together all of those online tools, answering emails for parents and caregivers who need help, technology help, and then meeting with my team of my other kindergarten teachers so we can plan together. So it's definitely a busy day.
Absolutely, busy, busy. So when it comes to challenges associated with that virtual scheduling, let's start first with what you're hearing from caregivers or parents and their students. How is the adjustment to this virtual learning environment going, and what feedback are you receiving from parents and students?
Overall, I've been so impressed with the parents. I know it is hard and they have really come together. We're seeing grandparents helping, we're seeing daycare centers that are helping with online learning. So I think the biggest challenge that I've heard from parents is those working parents who can't be at home with their students having to figure out how they're going to manage the schedule. And because we don't want kids to be online all day long, there are breaks and they need to be able to hop on and off of meets with their teacher. So just managing that schedule has been tricky, but the parents are really doing a great job working with the child care providers or with grandparents or with babysitters to really make sure that students are in their meets on time and learning and able to work the virtual schedule.
That's great to hear. We are all in this together, and I know as a parent, I'm a big believer in constant and regular communication with my kids' teachers. Do you have any other pointers for parents and kids to work well with their teachers and to keep the school year running smoothly?
I would encourage parents and caregivers to reach out to the teachers. We are here to help you. Feel free to email. I know I've had friends of mine say, oh, well, I don't want to bother the teacher. Don't feel like you're bothering the teacher. Send them an email if you need help. And then whatever kind of online classroom your school system is using, go in with your child and look at their assignments. We're able to leave feedback on assignments right on the online classroom. So you can see their grades oftentimes, you can see comments of how they did on an activity. So check in on those classrooms and see how your student is doing. And if you're confused about something, email that teacher.
Excellent, excellent. So Pam, I happen to know that you are an incredibly organized person. Do you have any pointers for our listeners or for our kids who may struggle to keep their schedule going or their assignments organized?
One thing that was really a challenge for me was just making sure I didn't want to be late. I want to get on to my meet on time. So something that I did was set a timer on Alexa, or you could use your phone. So I have a recurring timer that Monday through Friday at 9:10, my timer goes off and tells me it's time to go to your meet. And then throughout the day, when I need to be back on my meet, I have 5 minutes before the meet, the timer goes off and I go to my meet. And I also did that for my son. So he has his own timer that's going off because we have different times to meet. So it was getting really crazy. I was feeling like I was always watching the clock. And that has really helped us. The timer goes off, we know who it's for, we go sit down and we're ready. We don't have to feel like we're watching the clock. And then as far as the assignments, I know a lot of school systems use planners. So if your student has a planner, have them write their due dates in their planner and get used to using that. That's a great life skill for them that will carry them through even adulthood. So I would definitely recommend that as well.
Great advice. Great advice. So let's end on a super positive note. Can you share with us some highlights, maybe one or two, of your experience so far with virtual learning this year? What so far has put a smile on your face?
I think just being able to see my students and that they were still really excited to learn. Kindergartners are super excited, but they were happy to meet each other. We're following a monarch caterpillar through to being a butterfly, and they absolutely love it. They can still see those things online. And then the second thing I would say is just I feel like I've gotten to know the parents and families so much more because we really are being allowed to step into their homes and see them, and we see the parents helping, and they pop their head in and ask a question if they have a question. We see the pets sometimes, and little brothers and sisters will curl up on the sofa next to kids and watch a really interesting lesson just because it looks cool to them. So it really has been a good opportunity to get to know families better, where normally we may only see parents at conferences or see them on field trips. I feel like I'm really getting to know my families better and the kids. So that's really exciting. And that's why we do what we do.
That's awesome. I love that. Bringing us together while we're apart. So this has been great, Pam. Thank you so very much. I know I speak for so many parents out there when I say we are very appreciative of the heart and soul that all of you and your colleagues are putting into making sure that our kids are learning and thriving. So thank you again. All right, folks, please continue to turn in every other Wednesday through December for tips and tools on caring for your children during the pandemic. Our next Lunch and Learn interview will take place October 7th at 12 p.m. Hang in there.